everyone, and welcome to Silverline Silver Sunday. This Sunday, December 4th. Wow, it's December already, y'all. December.
Huh? What? Huh? What?
Oh, there we go. That was wonderful. This way it puts Haley's face right in the camera. Look at that. What? Well, you too. Look at that. So, shout out to before we get too deep here, as we wait on our special guest, Mr. Ben Dunn. Shout out to our sponsors here. Thank you to Daytona Beach Comic Con. If you like comic books and comic conventions, you should check out Daytona Beach Comic Con near Daytona, Florida. The dates this year are, oh man, I said I was going to remember it this year because he did announce them. I've seen them on Facebook. Either one of y'all know them right off the top? I think I might have put them on my calendar too. Anybody know right off the top of your head?
I have no idea.
Man, I didn't. Let me real quick, like, because I know there's some of you out there like, man, you know what? I really want to go, but I don't know the dates, and you're not telling me what those dates are. It is September 9th and 10th of 2023. So I'm going to
when?
It's September.
Okay.
9th and 10th. Did I say December?
Yeah. So September. Okay.
September 9th and 10th is Daytona Beach Comic Con. So you should make your plans to attend Daytona Beach Comic Con. New comics, old comics. It is a comic book show. It's not full of, I'm not saying it doesn't have any, but it's not full of the media guests. He focuses on comics. And so if you are a comic fan, it is a fantastic show. If you could only go to one show in Florida, if you could only go, I know there's a great big box show here that everybody likes to talk about, but if you could only go, if you only had the funds to go to one show, that show should be Daytona Beach Comic Con. And we're local, right? So the three of us here, so we're there every year. So y'all come out and see us. We always get some out of town Silverliners to come in as well. They kind of rotate, you know, different ones from out of town each year. Same old us because we're local.
Did drive on us.
That's right.
Yeah,
also, yeah, it's in Haley's backyard
quite,
almost.
it is like down the road from me.
Haley lives there. She's got like a trailer in the back.
Yeah.
Also, shout out to Orlando Collector Deviants. If you like, oh, I forgot to turn the comments on. If you like fan stuff by fans, then you should check out Orlando Collector Deviants. I say this every time. One of the things I like about Steve and Trish, they do walkthroughs for most of the shows. So if you can't be at a show, they're all kind of Central Florida, mostly all Central Florida. He takes his camera and walks through and kind of says hi to everyone, so you can kind of see the stuff that you're missing. So there's that. If you find yourself in the Orlando area, be sure to go by Coliseum of Comics, where you can check out all kind of cool comics. There's a big chain there, and they just expanded. They just bought a couple of other stores, I learned. They are big supporters of Silverline, and you should go there and support them. If you're looking for your Silverline comics, go to particularly the East Colonial Drive and the one in Claremont, and they've got a display of Silverline stuff. It's not exclusively Silverline; it's local stuff, but we're there. And it's got a nice little display. Coliseum of Comics is a supporter of ours. So if you are in Orlando, you should go and check them out. Last but not least, shout out to our, I don't have a comic book here on my side. Shout out to our wonderful printer, Kablam! If you are an independent
Never heard of those things.
If you are an independent comic creator and you need your independent comic printed, you should look no further than Kablam. They have, oh, look, we have another special guest with us tonight.
Someone's awake.
Oh, that's so cute.
Yeah.
Hey,
Hi.
baby.
She's like,
Not you,
what's
Pete.
going on, Dad? What are you looking at? Oh, yeah. Hi, Pete. How you doing?
Yeah. Oh, there's someone else there?
Oh, yeah. Someone's awake and won't go back to sleep.
Oh.
Well, she can be part of the show.
Yeah, maybe our
Yes,
voices
now.
put her to sleep.
Yeah.
She's like,
Well,
no way.
She's watching the screen though. She's looking to see what's going on.
Yeah,
She's
yeah.
like,
She's
yeah.
loves a phone or a screen. Don't you? Yeah.
She's like, who are those accents? All right, we got a few comments here. Vic says, Bona Sarah Silverliners, which I remember this means good evening, right?
Sure.
Wolf Hunter, that's new, right? Wolf Hunter's fairly new. It was early in this year. Guten Abend team, that's got to be good something.
Good
from,
Abend. Well, it's good afternoon, isn't it?
I don't know.
It's good Abend, the same.
Something about gluten. I don't know. Gluten-free show. I don't know what he's talking about.
Well, it could, because Guten Morgen is good morning, right?
Yeah, good Abend, good afternoon.
There you go. Good afternoon. So there you go. How you doing? How you doing, Royal? Good to see you here. Pop says, "Hey yo, what's up, Pop?"
Pop.
Eric says, "Hello, all.
Yeah,
hey, Eric, how are you? Good to see you here. Thanks for dropping in. Eric's dropping in on LinkedIn. Look at that." And Royal says, "Adorable." So,
thank you. He's talking about me.
Yeah.
Thank you, Roy.
So, let me send Mr. Ben Dunn the link again, so make sure he understands.
Maybe wrong time zone.
Well, that was after I don't always. Anytime I think he's out in Texas, but anytime I communicate with someone, I try to always make sure I say Eastern time is the link. We're live and ready for you when you are ready. Okay, so Pete, you went to a show last week, didn't you? Didn't you go to a show?
Oh, I went to Thought Bubble a couple of weeks ago.
Okay, a couple weeks ago. How was that? How did that?
Thought Bubble was great.
Great.
It's all comics. It's just indie publishers, indie artists and writers. Halls and halls of them. It's really good.
Wow. Now this is your second or third year?
It's my second year.
Second year. I remember you liked it last year too as well.
Yeah, really good. I was sat next to Andy Lanning this year.
Oh yeah.
Andy Lanning. He does. He's working on this at the moment actually. Oddly enough,
on disease. Wow.
Yeah, he's really nice. He lives local to me, so it was strange that we got sat next to each other.
You have to go out of town to meet somebody local, right?
Yeah, I know, literally. Yeah. That was good. Sold some comics, sold some art.
Nice.
Yeah.
Very cool. Very cool.
Good weekend.
He says that link does not work. Okay, so hold on. Let me try this one here. Okay.
What do you think?
Okay,
well, it's coming up.
This one.
Here, zoom in on this one.
Oh, look at that.
Wait, you gotta.
Poor artist getting beaten.
Hold on. Let me get you there, Tommy. All right, solo. There we go.
Can you see?
Oh yeah, cool. Look at that.
Look what they're doing to Daddy.
Have we talked about when we were gonna do these little things?
No, we have not. But that will BJ and I are talking about trying to start putting them together tomorrow. So
all right, yep.
Yeah. So
somebody could get this bad boy. Look, and we got Mr. Pete getting his butt whooped.
They're getting kicked there. Look.
That's Miss Fury, right?
Yeah,
by Miss Fury.
Yep. That's funny. Kicked him in the head. That's what Pete gets for drawing himself in a comic book.
That's pretty funny. Oh, here we go. I think we have him here.
Yeah.
Mr. Ben Dunn, are you with us?
Hello. How are you doing? Sorry about that.
No worries. I must have sent you the wrong link. I'm not sure where I grabbed that.
Hey, well, you can't have a good show without at least one little hiccup.
There you go. So how are you this evening?
I'm doing great. Thank you for inviting me.
Good. Well, I was trying to remember. I think I apologize that I cannot remember the first time you and I met. I know it was way back in the early '90s during the Malibu days.
Malibu stuff. Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, good times, good times.
Yeah, and then I saw you again when I went to San Diego with my buddy Tommy and Barry. I guess 4 years ago, something like that. Where'd you go last, Tommy? Do you remember? Was it 17 that you went? And I mean, 18 that you went?
When did I have that little surgery thing that I couldn't go? So what was that? 4 or 5 years? Yeah.
Yeah. So you were I think you were a special guest that year, Ben.
Oh, I was. I don't seem to remember, but if you say so.
Well, I think so. They had you kind of seated up front in Artist Alley. I
guess that was when I got the ink pot award, I think.
Okay. All
Yeah.
right. I don't recall the award, but I think that you were kind of seated up front in Artist Alley because I think you were the special guest or one of the special guests that year.
I think I have vague memory of that time.
Well, we're gonna go around and let you hear some voices so you'll know who's talking with you.
Okay.
Of course, for those who are listening to the stream, I'm rolling. Tommy, say hi.
Howdy do.
Hey there.
What's going on, Haley? Say hi to everybody.
Hi, I'm Haley.
Hi, Haley.
And Pete's here with the special guest. Hi, Pete.
Hello, everybody.
Pete and Little Pete.
It is.
Pete, little Pete.
Luna. Say hi, Luna.
Oh no, that makes me think of a really bad joke. Pete and repeat,
Yeah.
right? You heard that one, haven't you, Pete? So Ben, this is a pretty informal thing. I don't know if you went and watched any of our streams at all, but pretty informal. We just chat with you, find out kind of what makes you tick, what you like, anything kind of you want to talk about and tell us about. But I'm going to ask the first question.
Okay.
And the first question, of course, a lot of folks know you probably from comics and the Ninja High School, long running Ninja High School. Of course, Warrior Nun is now a TV show. We'll get into talking to you about that some. But tell everyone how and when you got your start in comics.
Oh gosh, I actually started working in comics around 83, 84. It was
That was way earlier than I thought. Cool.
Well, there was a local comic book company that just started called Galaxy Comics, and
Okay.
they were located in San Antonio. And I guess they just needed somebody cheap to draw their comics. So I sent in my portfolio. They hired me. I did one issue of a book called Bloody Bones and Black Eyed Peas. That's my.
Oh boy,
Well,
that's a great name.
I'm not the one who makes the decisions. So, but I did get to meet Pat Boyette, who also was working with them. So I don't know if you're familiar with him, but he was a very prolific artist during the 50s and 60s and 70s, and he used to do a lot of Charlton work, if I recall. And he was a really nice guy. And then that gave me a taste of publishing. And of course, I was attending college at the time, and I just said, you know what, I'm sick of school. So I borrowed some money. And the direct market had just started. We had the Longhorn Distribution, Diamond, Capital City, and all those other distributors, and it allowed us to actually get our comics into comic stores through those distributors. So I started at Anarchic Press in '84.
Wow.
And we came out with our first book in '85.
Wow. Okay. Yeah. I would have guessed an 86, 87 kind of, if I were guessing, an 86, 87 kind of date.
Well, Ninja High School came out in '87, and that's probably
Okay.
what I'm best known for. But
Right.
yeah, we actually started publishing in '85.
Wow. So does that make you then? Let's think about this. Does that make you
Yeah.
the longest running independent comic publisher?
I don't know. I haven't kept track of that. I don't know.
Because Dark Horse didn't come around until '86.
Right? Yeah.
And of course, a lot of those early those '80 independent comic publishers are gone now. First and Now and Kamiko and Innovation.
Yeah. I guess they're not around much. we really did haven't keep track of that kind of stuff, but you may be right. You know,
I'm not going to swear to it, but I would say this might be something somebody has to look into. Vic, look into that.
Well, we're just happy that we're still around. So
yeah,
well, whether we're the
changed
oldest or
a
not.
lot. You changed a lot. Oh yeah, Pete's frozen. So now when I went out there to San Diego a few years ago, I actually met. I had never met your brother Joe, but I met Joe at San Diego because Antarctic Press had a booth out there, and there were a whole bunch of people back there. I didn't know any of them. I'm like, "Where's Ben?" And they're like, "Well, Ben's not involved in the day-to-day anymore." But so tell us how that changed. So you started running Antarctic Press in the 80s, right? And then you that's when you did Ninja High School and all that. And give us a little history of Antarctic Press.
Well, when I was in San Antonio, of course, I ran AP with my brother, who was the financial. He was the one who kept the. He's actually more credit to keeping the company afloat than anybody else because he ran it like a business. He made sure that the bills were paid, and everything else, and everybody got paid because. In the end, you got to run it like a business if you want to stay afloat. You gotta, and that's and when I got married, I moved with my wife to Dallas, so I had to hand over the operation to him, and he's run it ever since. I have since returned to help with some of the creative aspects of it, and do a lot of editorial work, and also to. Provide art and stories and things like that, and of course the revival of bringing back Ninja High School to the series. So
that's exciting.
I'm very excited about that. And then and so I'm more or less just a figurehead, and I do a lot of some of the editorial aspects of it.
Right.
But he's the one who actually runs the business.
Okay. Cool.
So your book was the first Antarctic Press title?
The first title we did was called Manga Zine.
Okay.
I remember that. Ran for a long time, didn't it?
Mm-hmm. We did 3 volumes. I think we've done over like 100 issues or so. We count all 3 volumes. So yeah, it was a long-lasting title.
Yeah. So Joe is pretty much Joe is the brother you're talking about, right?
Yeah, it's my brother.
Yeah. So Joe is he runs all the business stuff, and you do all the creative stuff now.
Well, I don't do all the creative stuff, but I do quite a bit of it.
Gotcha.
Brian Denham is also an editor.
Okay.
And he controls a lot of the creative aspects of it. He handles some of the monthly titles. I handle some of the monthly titles. By splitting the work between the two of us, we're able to put out books on a more regular and timely fashion.
Gotcha. Now how many books does AP do now monthly?
We average about between 7 and 8 books a month.
Okay.
Yeah.
That's a lot.
Wow, that's a good healthy number. Yeah.
Well, thank you. I didn't realize that.
I mean, that's a lot of work. I mean,
it is, but it's very fulfilling. I love comic books. I just can't imagine doing anything, other than comics.
Yeah.
So, are you selling them mostly through Diamond, or are you doing the Kickstarter route?
We do a little bit of both. We figure that there's no reason why we can't take advantage of both. We like
exactly. Yeah.
Whenever there's an opportunity, we try to take advantage of it because why wouldn't we? It wouldn't make any sense really not to. If you can do both, you should do both.
Yeah, absolutely. Man, you mentioned in the Longhorn distribution, I had forgotten all about them. There was wasn't there another Texas-based distributor?
Oh, I have no idea. There were so many at the time. I sort of missed them because
it was a lot
of competition, and that was great for the business.
Well, Tommy knows this, but I miss Capital City was always. We probably shouldn't say this. If Diamond is listening, right? Capital City was always my favorite, and I think part of that had to do with we had a warehouse fairly local to us.
Yeah, they always treated us pretty good. So
yeah, and so
I love those after hours. Come by and buy some stuff. That was always fun.
Well, the whole thing collapsed when Marvel decided they thought they could go ahead and distribute their own comics.
Yeah.
When they bought that
Heroes World.
Heroes World. Yeah. And that collapsed. Because they realized a comic book publisher is not really good at comic book distribution.
Right. Yeah, it's a whole nother thing, right?
Yeah, and that caused Diamond to sign publishers to be exclusive. And when that happened, that pretty much spelled the death of all the other distributors.
Yeah.
We were offered that exclusivity, and we talked about it, but it just didn't feel right. To me, it just didn't feel morally right to do that.
Well, and too, as a business person, you're like you want the opportunity to get your books in the most hands possible. Why would you go exclusive?
Yeah, well, I just felt that it just was detrimental to the industry, and it's sort of now that Diamond is the only game in town. It limits possibilities, in my opinion. But that's changing. Now nobody's exclusive anymore. Anybody can distribute their book any way they want now.
Yeah. Here's a name that says hi that you might recognize. John Crowther says, "Hey guys."
Hey, of course. John.
I just sent him the link, so maybe he wanted to say hello.
Let's see. There's a couple of comments here. Let's see. Vic says it looks like there was only one issue of Bloody Bones and Black Eyed Peas.
Yeah, there was only one. They had planned the second one, but it never came to fruition because it just was too costly. And back in the 80s, distribution was limited. Did you
draw that? Did you draw a second issue?
I started it, but then they closed their doors. I showed up one day and it was locked up.
There was nobody there anymore.
Yeah, isn't that the story of a lot of these?
We had that story.
Yeah, I got, let's see. Yasha says, "Been done. Thank you for creating such an incredible world with Warrior Nun Ariella."
Oh, well, you're welcome, man.
Yeah. Oh, look who's popping in today. Wow. John.
Hey, guys.
Hello.
Hey, Ben. How are you?
How are you, man?
Very good. I'm staying busy, yeah, and thank you. I just got, for those who are maybe watching and some of you here who don't know, Ben really gave me my break in comics with Rochelle a few years ago now, and I just got my latest comps from him yesterday for a story I ran in Planet Comics number 11.
Excellent. Yeah, I always love reading your stuff.
Very cool. Very cool.
It is amazing work.
Yeah, thank you. I saw Ben popped up on here, and I was like, how do I log into this podcast?
Yeah.
You're part of an elite group, my friend.
Yeah. We're happy to have John with us here as a Silverliner as well. Teen Beetle is one of our favorites. Let's see what else. Anarctic is the longest still running independent publisher as far as I can research. So Vic went out to the interwebs and did a little bit of quick research, and so Ben, you guys may hold on to that title of the longest still running independent publisher.
Oh, well, geez.
That's pretty impressive.
Too bad they don't give out awards for that.
Right.
Stubbornness.
Yeah, right. Yeah. Phil Leon says, "Heyo, Silverline peeps," and he says, "Hey, it's Ben. Heyo, Ben."
Hello.
Yeah, well, I think you'll find yourself in good company here, Ben, because that's one of the things that we talk about at Silverline is that we're just a bunch of folks who love doing this stuff. We love making comics. Be nice if we could sell a few more, but we love making them. So.
Oh, absolutely. I mean, the thing about it is that comics are like to me, one of the best way to tell a story. You got words and pictures. I mean, it'll never replace books and novels, but to me, I love the combination of the two. And the beauty of it is that you don't need to have any intricate knowledge of all you need is paper and a pencil, and you can start creating worlds with no limit on the budget. You're only limited by your own imagination. That's the beauty of comics. You don't need to have any technical prowess. You don't need to have huge budgets for anything. You just sit down and you just start drawing.
That's right. Yep. Your imagination is your limit, right?
Absolutely.
Writer writes whatever he wants and just thinks, hey, just go draw that. And then poor guy like me has to draw it. Roland knows this very well.
Mickey Clausen says, evening, y'all. What's up, Mickey?
Lots of folks joining.
So,
hey, Mickey, you're so fine. You've blown my mind.
So I can sit here and ask Ben questions all day long. Does anybody have questions for him?
Yeah, tell me what you guys are up to, man. Enough about me.
Oh no! You're the special guest tonight. This is mostly about you tonight. Yeah. They hear about us every week.
No one cares about us.
Oh shucks.
But no, I was going to give these guys a chance to ask you a question, or I'll just pelt you with questions. So,
sure, go ahead, ask away. What you need to know? What can I impart knowledge on you?
Well, I asked mine already. I
was quick on the draw.
Yeah.
So how did you get? So you had an association with Malibu Comics.
Actually, it was Eternity Comics, okay. But I think they were all part of this big, huge conglomerate with like Aircell and Malibu and Eternity. The Eternity line was their sort of manga line,
right?
And Malibu was their superhero line, and Aircell was their adult line. I mean, they were coming up with all sorts of lines for their for the company.
So now, how did you get involved with Eternity and what's his name? Super nice guy, Barry Blair. How did you get associated? How did that relationship happen, and how did your work with Eternity? How did that originate, and then how did it end?
Well, they contacted me and they wanted to publish Ninja High School,
right?
And at the time, AP was still growing, and I knew I needed a steady income, and this was a way to do it. So I went ahead and let them publish Ninja High School while I was also working with Antarctic Press. And so it was kind of an interesting balance because, Antarctic Press was still growing, small company, and the money that I got from the sales of Ninja High School through Eternity helped keep Antarctic Press afloat, basically. And so Eternity was actually responsible for helping AP grow.
Wow.
Yeah. And we started, doing more titles, and
right.
We were just in. Back then, it was it was not unusual for a title to sell 3,000-4,000 copies, at the time, and
in black and white.
Yeah, in black and white, exactly. Yeah. So, and we just kept going and kept going and kept going, And they published 40 issues. Eternity published 40 issues before it came back to Antarctic Press.
Wow. Okay. Yeah, that's a lot.
How many did you? So you penciled all of those, wrote and drew?
Yep.
Wow.
Did all of those.
I was looking through your bio. You have done a lot of books.
Workhorse,
I don't know if you've noticed.
I I will tell you, it's just one of those things I just love doing. You know. If I could, I mean that's all I know basically. I mean trying to do other things too, but you know I always come back to just simply sitting down and drawing a comic.
Yeah.
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 Go ahead.
No. I was gonna say. So what caused your love for comics? When did you first start reading comics, and what made you decide, oh, this is what I want to do?
Well, when I was little, I started reading the newspaper strips. You know, because we had a subscription to newspaper, and the first thing I would do is I would read the newspaper strips because back then it was like 2 or 3 pages of comic strips. You know, and it was like, wow, you know, I loved them because, you know, I loved the combination of the words and the pictures, you know, and then I started buying Richie Rich comics and Harvey comics and, you know, like Casper and stuff. And I love those, you know, and then when I was in middle school, there was a convenience store on the way between my home and my school. And I would always drop in there to see what kind of comics they had. And I started buying comics off the rack. My first Marvel comic was like X-Men number, 106 was like my first 106 or 107 was my very first X-Men I bought off the stands. And I loved it. I thought it was the greatest thing in the world. I said, where have you been all my life, man?
Right.
And of course, I had a limited allowance. So, 35 cents was a big purchase for me at the time. So, but I would stop there all the time whenever I had money and buy comics.
Yeah,
right off the racks, and that's how I became a reader. I think that's how a lot of people. Well, of course, it's different now, but back then that's how you became a comic reader.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's true. I mean, hearing Ben say that reminds me. I remember being a kid. And I get dropped off at the bus stop. Between the bus stop and my parents' office was a Rexall drug with a spinner rack. And I'd get $5 allowance every week. I'd stop in, grab a couple comics off the spinner rack, grab a fresh tomato from the fruit stand that was on the way there, have the argument about whether a tomato was a vegetable or a fruit. And that's kind of how I found my way into comics. It's kind of neat hearing him say the exact same thing, basically.
So would you eat your tomato like an apple as you read your comics?
Absolutely, and I still do.
Well, I mean, back then, comics were designed to be impulse purchases. It wasn't expensive entertainment. It was priced so that you would get into the habit of getting in there and buying comics without without breaking the bank.
Mm-hmm.
Now, actually, in terms of inflation, comics are actually no more expensive than they would have been back in the 70s or 80s when we were buying comics, but it's no longer an impulse purchase. People actually plan on buying comics when they arrive in their comic store. There's so few venues now where people can just see comics, displayed and get the impulse to just buy it off the rack.
Yeah. That's something we actually talk about here frequently. Is we talk about kind of the distribution system, how it's changed, and how it's now you have to intend to specifically go buy a comic.
Well, yeah, it's more direct to consumer now.
Yeah.
The consumer itself will decide that he or she wants to buy the comic, and then we'll search it out. It's no longer just like an impulse buy where you go into a convenience store or any grocery store or drugstore and see it, displayed out, and just say, "Oh, I've never seen that before. I'm just going to go ahead and get it." Now it's more the creators are actually directing their product straight to the consumer, and getting them to want to purchase it from them.
Yeah. Are you still geographically in Texas?
Yes, we have a location in San Antonio, and I have a location here in Garland.
I think that might be, as I think about it, I think it might have been, Tommy, you might have been with me. It might have been the Dallas Fantasy Festival run by
That is a name I have not heard in so long.
It's been a while. Yeah.
Larry Langford.
Oh yes.
Yep.
We knew Larry.
Yep, he has since passed away, but yeah, Larry was a good guy, and I think that's probably where I met you, is at the Dallas Fantasy Festival.
Wow, that's ancient history, my friend.
Yeah, I told you it'd been a long time ago, and I'd known you for a long time, but I couldn't, and I'm not 100% certain that's it. But I'm gonna, if I were a betting man, and I'm not, I would say that's probably when the first time where we met, and which year I don't remember. I went a couple of years in a row. I can't remember if Tommy went with me every year. I don't think he went the first year. I think it might have been. Well, I don't know. You went with me and Steven and Mitch, right?
I went several times, but remember my dad lived in the Dallas area, so I've been times when you weren't there.
We didn't go. Okay, I got you. Yeah, I know we went out there once with the comic shop owner, Terry.
Terry, yeah. That's right.
Yeah,
I remember us all sneaking in, sleeping on the floor. That was good.
Yeah.
Good
So
time,
I think that's probably it when we met. It looks like John. I don't know if John lost connection or if he bailed. So you've seen a lot of changes starting out as an independent publisher in the 80s. You know, back when you still had the multiple distributors. You had a minimum print run. You guys were all printed through Brenner too at the time, weren't you?
Yeah, Brenner was before we found Brenner. It was tough trying to find people who would actually do comics.
Yeah, did a good job with it.
Yeah, it wasn't a simple thing back then.
Yeah.
There were very few publishers. I mean, very few printers who could actually do an actual real comic.
There's tons of folks that some of those mom and pop shops could, print, stapled books, but they still had to look like a comic. Right?
Mm-hmm.
It was a tough time trying to find somebody to make it look like a comic. Yeah.
Exactly. I mean, there were photocopy shops and stuff like that back then.
Yeah.
But the print shops, they were mostly used to doing flyers and posters and things like that.
Right.
So it was back then when in the early days, I actually had to go to like 3 separate locations to do our book. One had to do the guts. One had to do the cover. And then, yeah, and I had to pick up the guts, in my car, and then take it to the pick up the cover.
The cover from somewhere else. Somebody stapled them. Somebody folded them. Somebody trimmed them.
A place that could staple them and cut them. So
wow.
It was a lot. It was a big chore back then.
It sounds
so
like a pain.
I was very happy we found Brenner, who was able to do comics properly.
Yeah. I think Cat and Mouse was printed. The very first issue was printed at a newspaper printer, and so they weren't like a traditional printer, books and stuff like that. They had the big web press for newspapers, and so that was for them. It was just the size. It was weird, They couldn't.
It was great because
I understand.
It was great because Brenner actually did a lot of independent comics at that time.
Yes,
they sure did.
Yeah,
but the beauty was that they were located in San Antonio, where we are located,
right?
And we were at Brenner all the time because we were there to pick up our books. But I would also have the opportunity to see what the competition was doing too.
Oh yeah,
I could see exactly what the books they were doing. You go
by the trash cans, because with those big web presses, you print like 50, 100 books before you get the first good one, and so they're just throwing all that stuff in the garbage. Yeah, you were grabbing all kind of people's books.
Oh, absolutely. I would sort of say I helped myself to a few books here.
I know.
Yeah.
So it was amazing because I was just amazed by just how many comic book publishers were going through Brenner, getting their books done.
Yeah.
I'm trying to remember because I had a couple of things printed at Brenner. I'm trying to remember the main guy that we talked to all the time. I want to say Steve or something. Do you remember the main person that we would talk to?
I'd have to look it up.
Oh my gosh, it's been so long.
Yeah.
I should know this.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Wow.
There was this one guy who was always handling all our files and stuff like that. He would actually be the pre-press guy. I knew him. The actual owner, gosh, I should know this guy's name, but it's been so long, my memory ain't what it used to be. So,
Yeah.
but yeah, he was a nice guy. They were all nice people there. We really had a
Yes.
good relationship with them. And they would actually do a lot of special things that we that they normally wouldn't do, but we would ask them to do it. Like, they printed a 3D comic for us, and
Really?
yeah. And they also started doing foil embossing and things like that, and it was great. It was fantastic.
Yeah, when they're running the covers, you can go, look, here's a 50 more bucks. Just can you print 1,000 more just covers so we can use them for handouts at shows and stuff?
Exactly.
Yeah.
And what was good is also they printed posters, they printed flyers, and it was just it's a good relationship when the publisher knows a good printer.
Yes. Yes, it is.
Yeah.
Yes, it
I know
is.
Uh-huh.
about that.
Yeah.
Especially if it's located in your hometown.
Yes. Yeah. I couldn't agree more.
I don't know what you're talking about.
Yeah. In case you didn't know, Ben, Compound is located in Orlando, and I've known those guys for a long time, so we've got a good relationship with them.
Well, that's great.
Yeah. Well, one of the things you talk about printing. One of the problems I have with a lot of independent comics I get today is I'll pick them up and they don't feel like a comic. They feel waxy.
Are they?
Yeah.
Oh, you get some that are printed, in China, and they just smell like the ink is like rotten fish or something. You're like, what kind of ink are they using on these? Oh,
Is it ambiance?
oh, that's what it is. That's what it is.
Yeah. So
Well, yeah, print on demand right now is the big thing. So
yeah.
I know that there's companies like Kablam, who can do as little as one copy. I mean, that's unheard of.
Yeah, I was just looking at. Speaking of Ben, I was just looking at your profile. It looks like you need to print some more books with us.
I'd be happy to. No problem.
I'll set you up with that. Yeah, I was looking through the books that you had printed with us, and I forgot that we'd actually printed some of the Tomorrow Girl stuff and some of. I'm looking now. What was it? Night Terrors and some Ninja High School stuff for you.
Oh yeah, those sometimes I do.
Special editions and stuff. Yeah.
Well, not really. Sometimes I do like a proof of concept type things, to show the AP guys. I just wanted to see what it looks like. Nothing. You can show it on a computer, but it's not the same as actually
exactly.
As a real comic. Well, definitely. I'll definitely do more stuff. I mean, you guys are very convenient.
Very inconvenient? Is that what you're going to say? Yeah, we are sometimes.
If I need something, that's limited, I don't need like 1,000 copies. It's perfect.
Yeah.
Well, I don't know who those guys are. I'm going to cover up my head here. But they're offering foil covers and stuff now.
That's right. Oh,
yeah, we're bringing them back, baby.
Yes, right.
They're back.
Shoot.
You don't even have them. Oh man, you're supposed to show people.
Well, I can get. I'll try to get BJ to bring me one. She was taking pictures of them in there for the campaign.
Oh, okay.
So they're in there on the kitchen. We got a couple. Let me run through some of this. The comments here. Run through some of these here. Herrenberg says, "What's up, Herrenberg?" Says calculus. Let's see. Bill Black's AC Comics is one of the very few that's been around long. I forgot about AC. They've been around.
Yeah,
longer.
AC's been around a long time.
Yeah. And of course, Bill Black is local to us here, where we are in Orlando, so we see Bill frequently. Let's see. Vic says, "My stuff like that was a flea market right next to an actual comic shop." Herrenberg said, picking up comics in the newsstand between school and home is how one did it in the late 70s. Yeah, pretty much. Along with candy and baseball cards, incredible entertainment for pocket change.
Yep.
Yeah,
Those are the days.
Let me scroll down through here. X-Men. Oven Rees. Oven says, hello, Silverline family. What's up, Oven? Herrenberg said, just started to watch season 2 of Warrior Nun. Hope Ben is getting some decent dollar out of the adaptation. The locations in Europe are beautiful, and so is Alba as the heroine. So let's talk about that for a minute.
That was where I was going to go with some questions.
Yeah,
well,
so,
unfortunately, I don't get a dime from the show, so don't worry about that.
What? No way! You are kidding.
That's a question. What to explain that then?
No, we're not asking how much you get, but
No.
that can't be true.
No, it's true. I sold the rights to the character many years ago.
Oh my goodness. So can you
That's
talk
what I was
about
going to ask you what your involvement was, but I guess there is no involvement.
Well, the thing is that comic book rights and TV rights and movie rights, those are all separate things. About 15 years ago, my wife had to go into surgery, and to cover her medical expenses, I sold the rights to Warrior Nun to Avatar Comics. So they currently hold the rights to Warrior Nun. Yeah.
And they're not even paying. So we don't. I won't get into it unless you want to get into it. But the right thing to do for them would be pay you a little bit of royalty, something, even though you sold it. Sold it.
I'm an adult. I knew what I was getting into, so I don't blame them for anything. So, I'm glad that I'm just happy that it got made. Because so few things that are option actually get made.
Right.
So I count my lucky stars that it actually got made. And the guy who handles the television rights and the movie rights, he put it in there that I at least would get screen credit.
I was going to ask you, at least you got it created by kind of thing.
Absolutely. That was great.
That would help at least make you feel good.
Yeah, I'm quite happy with that. So I'm not too worried about the financial return. Okay. I mean, it would be nice, but I'm not going to cry over it because, I knew what you were doing. Yeah, I knew what I was getting into.
Yeah. So let me ask you this then. Have you been able to watch any of it?
Yes, I watched the entire second season. I thought it was really good. It was much more exciting than the first one. And I could tell from the story that they were pulling a lot of elements from the comic, which really I was really happy about.
I was going to ask you, are you happy? So I know probably as a creator, there's always going to be things that you can nitpick, but overall, are you, as the creator of Warrior Nun, are you happy with what's presented on the screen?
Absolutely. I thought the showrunner and the creative staff, everybody did a tremendous job. I mean, they really they didn't treat it silly or ridiculous or anything like that. They really treated the source material very well, and I am grateful for that.
Yeah. We I think I saw you post about it on social media somewhere, and you had I can't remember if you were there or you just had shots from the set.
Yeah, on the first season, before they shot the first season, my agent put it in the contract that I would be flown out there to witness the beginning of the shoot and the end of the shoot. Cool. But because of the COVID restrictions on season 2, I couldn't fly out there. So, but if they ever do a season 3, they owe me.
Yeah. So you were there when they were filming then?
Yeah, I was there.
Nice. Did you get in?
I was there the very first day of the shooting.
Did you get to sneak in as a background character? So can we look for you? Are you an Easter egg?
No, they did not shoot me in any of the scenes because the scenes they were shooting didn't require any extras. So I couldn't be. But I met the entire cast. I met the director. It was great. And they put me up. nice hotel. Took me out to sightsee and it was great, fantastic. I'd never been to Europe, and this was my first time, and it was just an amazing experience.
Wow. Sounds cool. At least it sounds like they kind of gave you the king's treatment then.
Yeah, if you guys ever get stuff made, you make sure you get that in your contract, man.
Yeah.
Make sure you're there the first day of shooting.
Now, I may be asking you something that you can't answer, but I've seen some mysterious posts from you about Ninja High School.
Yes.
So, is there a TV deal coming for Ninja High School? Possibly.
Not yet.
Not yet.
You have to. Okay, I'm not sure if you're familiar with the process.
A little bit.
But okay, well, you know that your agent, okay, he's the one who does all the legwork. Okay, he's
right.
He takes your IP, okay, and he's basically trying to find people who are interested in committing to optioning it, and then hopefully find somebody who will actually produce it, and then someone who will actually get it done. So we're in the stage. We have the script, for the pilot, and we have the Bible, not the Bible, but we have the pitch. Okay, and so once the pitch is completed, then he's going to take it, and he'll start. I don't know if he already has people lined up, but I'm sure if he did, he would tell me. But right now, that's the stage we're in right now.
Gotcha.
So we're in the pitch stage.
Yeah, that sounds cool. Sounds very cool.
Well, hopefully something will come of it. I mean, it's I'm crossing my fingers because a lot of stuff gets pitched. I mean, they probably see thousands of pitches. So I don't know whether we have a good chance or not. The only thing we have going for us is that we have Warrior Nun, who's been made into his 2 seasons, and that is a big, huge a plus in our column.
Oh yeah, I would imagine you mentioned that, and you mentioned that you're the the creator behind that comic book, and that's gonna open doors for you certainly.
Well, I hope so. I mean, I have no illusions. Okay, I figure if it happens, then fantastic. If it doesn't, I'll just keep doing comics.
Right. All right, so we don't have to respond to this one, but I don't put it up here. Heronberg says, "Oh man, devastating. Avatar. So the money from Warrior Nun helps to pay Rich Johnson. Ugh." We'll just keep
Move
going.
along.
Yeah, it says the second season is way better. First season was way too mellow. You could basically skip from the first 3 episodes to the finale. Season 2 is way more active. My wife and I, we've been watching the show. We both like it very much. We're only about 2 episodes into the second season, though. So, but both enjoyed the first season.
Well, good.
We'll come back to that one. Ninja High School, definitely one of the top U.S. mangas, along with Empowered and Gold Digger. Did Ben ever know about the Toronto band Ninja High School?
Yes, I was very. I know of them. I don't know anybody there of them personally, and I thought it was great that they. I'm not sure whether they got the name from the comic or it was just serendipity that they just happened to come up with the name. But I loved it. I thought it was great.
So have you heard them? Have you heard any of their
music?
Yes,
I actually listened to their music. I thought it was very. It's not not my my go-to
jam.
It's very alternative, but it's very enjoyable.
Haley, Pete, any questions? I'm gonna keep rolling if y'all got nothing.
No, I got one.
Go ahead, Tommy.
Okay, so because your style is so we all know it. We love it, know and love it.
Yeah.
How many covers? How many have you done?
Covers?
Yes. How many?
I've lost count.
It's not only for your books, but for you've done. I see your books pop up, or your covers pop up on the Kablam, people's Kablam books every now and again. I'm like,
he did one for Silverline. He did one for Team Devill.
Sure do.
I don't know. I've lost count.
4, 5, 6 million.
No,
love your stuff.
I'm not
we all love you.
I really
Okay, that was my silly joke. My silly comment.
That was it. Okay.
Because I see one pop up on, I'm like, oh, there he is again. There, this is great. This is great.
Okay, Pops is being silly here.
Uh-oh.
Pops says all the artists that Ben knows, and he can't get a decent avatar.
Ooh.
I'm sorry. My apologies.
Speaking about his avatar, Antarctic. So where did that come from?
I'm just not very photogenic, So
No, not the actual drawing. The name, Antarctic Press. Where did you get?
Come from? Yeah.
Yeah, where did the name come from?
Well, believe it or not, when I first started the company, I was in partnership with somebody else who helped fund the start of it. And originally we were going to call it Penguin Press, believe it or not. But we realized that there already was a Penguin Press.
Penguin, yeah.
Yeah, so we said, well, where do they live? And they live in the Antarctic. So we said, okay, we'll just.
Oh, okay, I get it.
Yeah, that was our inspiration.
Sounds good to me.
Yeah.
It works. It's great.
We're stuck with it now.
Best, right?
No, you got to change it now. I don't know.
Well, we have
it long enough. You can change it. You can change it.
Yeah.
Well, we did try a few imprints.
Puffin Press. That's kind of like a penguin, right? The puffins.
Yeah, they're sort of penguin-ish.
Yeah. Roland's like, what are you talking about? A puffin? A puffin? You don't know what a puffin is? They're kind of a penguin-y looking.
We have puffin in
I
the
guess
UK.
when I thought about it,
Do
I
you?
probably could have used.
It's for kids.
Yeah, they're cute. Puffins are cute.
Oh yeah,
Look up what
they're
puffin
adorable.
is now.
Look up a puffin.
I am. I'm looking up.
There's a
puffin.
bunch of different kinds, but
Yeah,
they're
looks
cute.
like a toucan kind of.
Yeah, they got kind of the colorful beak, right?
Yeah.
Oh, Roland's the only one that doesn't know what a puffin is.
I did not know what a puffin
They're
was.
cute.
No.
Yeah,
They're cute.
browser.
Not like
So,
I'm changing my name. Puffin Press. Puffin
puppet stuff.
coming. Nobody take it. We're
Talking
changing
about-
the puffin.
Talking about covers, Phil Leon says, I got a chance to see Ben's cover for the upcoming IP Savage Sin, and it's awesome.
Oh, thank you very much.
All
Appreciate
right, so there's a couple questions we'll kind of lead to here. Vic says, what's currently in the chamber and Antarctic?
Good one.
Yeah. What's Antarctic got planned coming up?
Well, we're focusing a lot on our anthology titles. We figure that's probably where our strength lies right now. And we are also still doing creator-owned stuff. Now I'm not in charge of the creator-owned material. That's mostly the AP guys, so I have no idea what they have up and coming. Myself personally, I'm working on trying to get Ninja Ice go back on a regular schedule.
Mm-hmm.
After like a 5-year hiatus, I'm trying to catch up. And I'm also doing a Tomorrow Girl series,
Right.
sort of bring back sort of that old Silver Age, feeling of superheroes. Because, I used to read superheroes comics a lot. And right now, the superhero comics that are coming out, it's not, they're not enjoyable to me anymore. So I decided, I want to do something that, I think people would enjoy, something fun, lighthearted, and something that brings back the traditional idea of what a superhero is supposed to be.
Yeah, I think Pete and Tommy might agree that you should probably try out this book that we did called Silverline Team Up, which is a superhero book.
Cool.
We need to send them a copy.
Yep, we'll make that happen. So is that Tomorrow Girl? That's the one I think you posted on social media that you were looking for a team up, and you had like a bazillion people, including me.
Yeah,
saying,
the biggest, the biggest resource we have is each other. If you think about it, if you combine all the independent creators, that are not working for Marvel or DC together, I mean, we'd be huge.
Yeah.
And the whole idea is the great thing is, if you're a creator, you own your material. all I have to do is ask. Say,
Yeah.
hey, do you want to do a team up? And you have the power to say yes or no.
Yep.
And because you don't have to go through Marvel or DC to ask for their permission. And you can simply say, hey, you want to do a team up? Let's do a team up.
Yeah.
And we can get it done if we wanted to. So I mean, that's the beauty, and that's a huge resource. I think that if we can take advantage of it, we
I
could
agree.
definitely create something really big and long lasting.
I agree. So, so along those lines, what do you, what are some things that you would like to see happen with independent comics and independent creators? I mean, obviously, you've been part of for 40 years. So, what's something that you would like to see happen and with independent comics and or creators?
I think that if there was some sort of centralized resource to help creators and publishers to maximize their exposure, that'd be something that would be really good. And also I know that a lot of creators are not adept at doing crowdfunding. Is there some way to help them, go through the process of that? Another thing is this I feel like if there was, I mean, right now it's a great, back then we couldn't communicate that we can communicate now. We had to write letters, phone calls, things like that. Now you can contact almost anybody anywhere in the world instantaneously.
Yeah.
And that's a big, huge advantage that we can definitely take advantage of. And right now I'm talking to all you guys, and we are connecting, and we can share stories and resources. Like, let's say I find somebody who can do like action figures, and I say, hey, I found this guy who can do action. I can let you know. We can, and you can take advantage of that knowledge. Or I find a printer who can do foil embossed or 3D hologram type thing. I mean, that's the beauty of things. So, my dream is, of course, I want every creator in the world to be successful in their endeavor. If I had that kind of power, if I was a magical genie, that's what I would do. But unfortunately, we live in the world where you have to work at your you have to endeavor to create something so that people can support it and hopefully will be able to support you. So, like I said, my main thing is I would love to see a centralized resource where creators can go to and find information.
Yeah. Well, I don't know if you picked up on it, but Pete's joining us tonight from the UK. He's joining us from London.
So yeah.
All right, London.
Yeah.
Hello.
So he gets up in the wee early morning hours and joins us on our stream every Sunday. So and of course you're in Texas, and me and Tommy and Haley, we're all here in Florida. But our streams, it's not unusual that we've got folks from California and Pennsylvania. I think that's where Scott is, or he's in New York.
Well, what's the British comic scene like over there?
It's very American.
Oh,
it's very American.
Yes.
Yeah.
USA.
It's not huge. The indie scene is, I think indie scene everywhere now is massive because of Kickstarter and the internet. But I've just got back from Thought Bubble, which is one of the bigger UK conventions, and it's packed full of over 400 independent publishers and artists and writers.
Wow.
So on that aspect, it's great, but I don't know how much money these guys are making. I mean, I don't know if any of us really make. But yeah, otherwise it is pretty dominated by Marvel, DC, and American comic books. We obviously have 2000 AD, which is Judge Dredd and that lot. We have Commando comics and things like that. And then you have the kids comics, like the Beano and the Dandy, which have been going for forever. But
Are you still distributing through the newsstands your comics?
No, comic books are sold in comic book stores. 2000 AD goes into bookshops and comic shops, but
they're not like at grocery stores or drugstores or anything like that.
Our corner shops tend to sell reprints, which are printed by, I want to say someone like Titan or something. They have a
Mhm,
license.
yeah, Titan Books.
To
They've got an
Marvel and DC stuff, reprint
They've-
stuff.
They've got an ex-Marvel editor running there.
Yeah, that's actually the first comic books I bought were Spider-Man reprints in the local comic shop, in the local corner shop.
Yeah.
When you say local corner shop, what do you mean by that?
Didn't Marvel?
Right, a corner shop is it's like a 7-Eleven.
Oh, I got you.
Convenience store?
Convenience store.
Yeah, convenience store. Right. So,
Gotcha.
yeah, we have plenty of those everywhere.
Well, that's a perfect place to sell comics.
Yeah, it is.
Yeah, it is.
They sell the news. You know, you go in there, you get your newspaper, and they'll sell chocolate bars and drinks and all that sort of stuff, like a convenience store.
That's the thing is that like in Japan, comics are sold everywhere. Okay,
Yeah.
I mean, sold at bus stations, they're sold at subway stations, they're sold at every little mom and pop, store that carries any convenience thing. So, for some reason, the Japanese distribution system of comics hasn't changed at all. I mean, it's still the same as it was like 50 years ago.
Well, I always say if stores could return the comics that didn't sell, they would stock them, but they're not going to get lumbered with 500 copies of something that's never sold. And what we're going to do? They're not a comic book store. Comic book stores can hold it open and do eBay, but your local bookstore's not going to do that. So
well, and this circles back around to what we said kind of at the opening, is that the distribution system is broken now.
Yeah.
The thing about it was that when the direct market started, okay, with the non-returnability, it spoiled the publishers. I mean, if you really would think about it, because back in the day when it was returnable, you actually had to produce a comic that would sell.
Okay?
Right.
Didn't sell, you would end up with huge returns. And that incentivized the publisher to create something that's going to sell. But now that it's the onus is now on the comic book store, on a non-returnable basis, the publishers can put out whatever they want. They don't care because you're not going to get anything back.
Well, it's probably flipped around the other way too. Now the comic shops are not ordering as much stuff, and now that's why all the numbers of all the books are so low now.
Well, not willing to take. They don't want to be saddled.
No.
1,000 copies that are just going to sit in the inventory, in their back stock. That's just money that they're burning through, and it's an abusive thing. Now, I understand that. I heard, I'm not sure if this is true or not, that DC is going to actually start taking returnables. I don't know if you knew anything about that, but that's what I heard.
I hadn't heard that. No.
Yeah, I think they try to experiment with returnability on their comics.
Yeah. We went out to do some Christmas shopping. Was it yesterday? Yesterday, today? Whatever. And we went into a couple of shops, and I'm like, "Hey, this place is perfect for comic books. They should have some comic books." And it's where people go, and that's what I think we're missing.
Yeah. I think people are reading more comics than ever before. They're just not willing to pay for it.
Right. Yeah.
It seems that way.
Viz has this. Shonen Jump has their website. Where you pay $3 a month and you can read all the manga you want. And the trick is trying to convince people. I think people are reading more comics than ever. It's just like you got to get them to. The trick is convincing them to pay for it. That's the key part. Now, I know that back in the day when I was reading newspaper strips, they were free. Or not free, but you had to get a subscription newspaper.
The newspaper, but it was cheap.
Yeah, it was cheap.
Yeah.
And you could read it. And then they collected all those newspaper strips in the books. And that's what you paid for.
Yeah.
You want to reread them.
Well, and publishers worked harder to get advertising to help cover those costs. And newspapers did the same thing. I worked for a newspaper for a little while. And that's what we did. The advertising is what paid, all of our wages. We didn't.
Great. If you
we didn't sell enough copies to. I think we were a weekly, and our it was 50 cents for the weekly. And we just didn't sell enough copies to pay what we did. So we had to sell advertising, and that's how we made the money.
Yeah, and advertising also keeps the price of the cover price lower.
Yes, yeah.
If it help, that's like, I mean, the biggest. A lot of people complain, "Oh, comics are so expensive. They're so expensive." Yeah. Well, the reason they're expensive is because you got to pay the talent, of course, and you got to print the book. Okay, I mean, if if we could get those free, then all day long, you know.
And you got to ship the book, yeah.
Shipping is like, oh my gosh, shipping has gotten so expensive.
It's going up. It seems like every week we get a report, you know, an update saying everything's going up again.
Yep.
Yeah.
Wyatt Chaka says, "Hello, my friends." What's up, Wyatt
How do
Chaka?
you?
Hyper Potato says, "Commando War Comics Digest are still sold on newsstands over there, if I understand correctly." Is that correct?
Yeah, Commando, I think, is the longest running UK comic at the moment. They've still been going for I don't know how long, longer than I've been alive, certainly.
Pete, there's still bookstores and stuff over there, right? They didn't pretty much close down like they did here, right?
Yeah, I'm pretty sure we probably read more than you guys.
I don't think you're
We're
really
very educated people, Tommy.
Yeah, you're gonna get it. You're gonna get it.
Well informed.
No, I was like, what? You know, are they not selling trades and stuff in the bookstore kind of places?
Yes, they do. Yes, Tommy. Yes, they do. It's usually a smaller. I don't know what the sections are like in your bookstores, but it's the graphic novel section is usually a little smaller. It's usually it's lumped in with the sci-fi and fantasy stuff. Which is fine.
Yeah.
For the reading people.
I was gonna say those readers tend to cross over anyway.
Exactly. Right? Yeah. I like to look at them and go, got all those.
Too many words.
Got it.
More pictures, less words.
Yeah, the new dynamic is that you do the crowdfunding now. I mean, you do the crowdfunding, and then you're selling direct to the consumer. And what we offer is that once you've done your crowdfunding, send your book to us, and we'll get into comic stores. So the work's already done. You already got your money. Okay, so what are you going to do with it now? So if we've sort of figured out on this new model where if you've done a crowdfunding, we know you've done the work. Okay, so it's we used to have this problem back in the early days that we would get a submission and we liked the work, but the creator would stop doing the work. And sometimes we'd have to cancel a book because the guy wouldn't finish the story.
No, Diamond doesn't like that.
No, they absolutely hate that. But when you do a crowdfunder, we know. And
it's done.
You've done
it should be be done.
Well, that's
a crowdfunder that's been fulfilled, right? That's what you mean.
That's the trick. Is that it has to have been fulfilled and completed. But we give you an opportunity to make more money off what you've already done. So basically, you've done the work. You've got your crowdfunding money. If you decide to send your story to us, okay, or I'll contact you and say, hey, I love your stuff. I want to put in. It gives you an opportunity to get your stuff in the comic stores.
I see Roland's mind ticking. He's like tick 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 tick.
Yeah, it's an opportunity, basically, and you own everything, so it's not like we're basically giving you more exposure, and you get paid for work you've already done. So it's to me it's a win-win. Both for the creator and for us. We get content that we can put out in the comic stores, and you get more money for something you've already done.
Right. Yeah. Yeah, that's a great idea. That's one of the questions I was going to ask. I'm going to get a couple more of these comments, at least get some of these people up here. Hyper says Panini has some licensed comic reprints on the stands too, I think.
Yes, I might have got one. I know Titan's a big publisher. It might be Panini that does the reprints for one of those two.
Okay. Panini, are they still owned by Marvel, or is that one of the things that Marvel got rid of?
You'd have to ask Marvel Legal.
Okay.
Hold on, let me get him on the phone real quick. Hold on, put him.
Let me just ring the legal department.
Can you find out if they?
This isn't it?
They're going to call me back.
Oh no, wait. They don't.
Well, So if you guys don't remember, when Marvel went corporate, went public, they bought, Heroes World, they bought Panini stickers, they bought Malibu, right? And then of course they had the regime change, and then that's when they killed Heroes World, they killed Malibu.
Yeah.
I just assumed they killed Panini stickers, but
Oh no, Panini stickers still going.
Okay, well,
certainly here anyway. But you have to remember the UK stuff.
Isn't that a pasta?
When they buy something, it doesn't necessarily mean UK. They bought the UK side of the company.
Okay. Well, I don't know how that works.
It's like Diamond distribution. So Diamond's not distributing some certain books, or DC and Marvel want other distributors. But in the UK, no, it's still Diamond because there are no other distributors.
Okay.
If you want your books, you have to go through Diamond.
Huh.
So if DC say we're not going to use Diamond, it's
no, there's still Panini's still around. There's a Panini America.
Yeah.
Okay. Well, I don't know if Marvel still owns them, I guess is my question. So
the whole dynamic has changed. Marvel's now with Penguin, I think. No, not Penguin. Barnes and Noble. No, not Barnes and Noble. God dang it! What's the distributor that they're with right now?
No, you're right. It's Penguin. Yeah, it's Penguin.
Yeah. Oh, is it Penguin?
Yeah,
okay,
yeah. DC is with Lunar, Marvel's with Penguin.
Yeah, and I think DC is with Lunar.
Lunar. DC is with Lunar. Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So now Diamond, they still distribute Marvel and DC, but they're no longer exclusive with them anymore.
Yeah.
Well, they are in the UK. Well, they are in the UK and everywhere else in the world because they're the only company set up to do global distribution.
Yeah, I think Diamond's big mistake was when they stopped paying the publishers, and that sort of violated their contract, and so now, everybody's non-exclusive now again.
Yeah.
So that was that to me was a big mistake.
Yeah, a huge mistake. But I will say this: I'm optimistic because I see these new distributors popping up, and I think that's a good thing. I think having more distributors of comics is a positive in the long run.
Yeah, but the trick is to get more comic stores open.
Right.
Now you can get distributors to distribute in other venues. Like if you get a distributor start distributing like a 7-Elevens or a Walmart. I mean, I know Walmart carries comics, but they don't carry comics in the traditional sense. They just like relegate them to a section in the back of the store or something like that. It needs to be up front where people can see them, so that people can impulse buy them, But I mean, they would. But right now, the whole dynamic is changing because now people can just read comics on the internet.
Right.
I mean, it's not the same experience. It's just like watching a movie on your TV as opposed to a real theater. It's not the same experience. You can read a comic online, but to me, there's nothing better than to hold a real comic in your hand and reading it at your leisure and at your own pace.
I agree completely.
Plus, you have something you own. Okay, you read online, you don't own that.
Right.
They can take it away at any time.
Yeah. And even if you pay it, you're like, well, I paid money for it. I bought this. Well, now you don't have access to it. Sorry.
It's just like streaming. It's just like you buy something on TV through a streaming service. You buy a movie. You don't actually own that. They could take it away at any time.
Yeah.
Physical media, man.
Yeah. So one of the other things I wanted to ask you, I teach creative writing, and one of the things I do at the end of my classes is we talk about independent comic publishers and how kind of how to break in, what you do, that kind of thing. So if you ever look, there's a guy who runs a website. I never can remember his name, but he's got the page called the Independent Comic and Publisher Submission Guideline. It's a couple of years old by now. He used to update it, but it's I think 19. And he lists a whole bunch of them. As far as I know, it's pretty much all inclusive. Most of the publishers on there, the independent publishers, most of them will only accept completed projects, except for AP. AP is one of the ones that says, "Hey, if you're a writer, send us your script, your pitches, right?" And they'll take samples from writers and pencilers and inkers. They'll do that. So, what kind of thing? And of course, we know, John was on here. John bailed. I'm not sure exactly what happened to him. What do you guys? My question is multiple, right? So first is like, how is it that you guys as AP can open up like that where other independent publishers can't? And then second part of that question is, you guys, is there any kind of content specifically that you're looking for, or is there anything, hey, we'd kind of like to see more science fiction, or we'd like to see more superheroes, or we'd like to see less of this?
Well, I don't know where you got that information from. My understanding, and I could be wrong, is that we only actually take completed pitches.
I'll find it and I'll show it to you.
I don't doubt you. Okay.
Yeah.
I mean, they could have, like I said, I'm not privy to the day-to-day operation there, so they may have changed their policy that I'm not aware of.
It could have.
But I edit 5 anthology books. Okay, so I always look for completed work to put in anthology. I do Planet Comics, which is science fiction based. I do Exciting Comics, which is superhero based. I do Manga Z, which does manga. I do Jungle Comics, which is jungle based, and I do. And we just recently added Fantasy Comics, which is adventure and fantasy sword and sorcery type material. So I have an open policy to accept any stories that you have that are completed. Okay, basically it has to have a beginning, middle, and an end. Okay, now it can be an ongoing thing as long as the story has an end. So it can be done in chapters, but as long as the chapter has an ending, then that's fine. It's no problem. But it has to be complete, because the only way I can reliably schedule anything is to make sure I have the story in hand. And the only way to do that is if the story is complete.
Gotcha.
So
you see my screen?
I think a lot of publishers are doing that, because I think they're also trying to protect themselves so they don't end up with stories that are not that puts them further and further behind schedule.
Right. Oh yeah. So can you see my screen?
Yes, I see it.
Okay. So this is Jason Thibault is the guy who put it together, and this is from he has a website or a page called the Definitive List of Comic Publisher Submission Guidelines, and Antarctic Press is listed here, and then it says writers 1 to 4 page type, story synopsis, or treatment. If they like your idea, they'll request a script from you. So.
Okay, well, I stand corrected. I guess they must. They have their own. They have a definite way of wanting to do things. I'm not gonna contradict that. So,
well,
all I know is what
I don't know where he gets the information. So,
he may have made it up.
He may have, and he may have gotten old information to put on there.
It's possible.
I don't know. Yeah,
it's possible. All I know is that I've been told to only accept completed work.
Well, crap. I've got to change everything I tell my students now, because I've been telling them, hey, Antarctic Press is one of the only places that will take writer submissions.
Well, we'll take it. We just don't know what we would do with it. We'll be happy to read it. The thing is that I mean, I love reading stuff from other creators. The problem is that I think a lot of them expect us to provide the art and the and everything else like that. We don't have that kind of resource available to us to do that. And especially if it's creator owned, then we don't have any stake in the property, because we don't own it. You have to make the investment yourself to bring your idea to life. All we are is a conduit. Okay, if you have something that you would like to get into comic stores, we provide ability to do so.
Yeah.
You know,
Yeah.
and that's where the crowdfunding comes in. The crowdfunding allows you to raise the revenue and the resources you need to see your idea come to fruition.
Yeah.
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 You know, and then once it's completed, then you can send it to us, and then we'll consider publishing it. And honestly, you know, if you send something to me, and it's halfway decent, you know, you got a really good chance of being accepted, you know, right off the bat.
Yeah. Yeah. That's pretty cool. That's pretty
Yeah.
good. That's a cool thing, and it makes me think a lot of you know, what some of the it makes me think a lot of the spirit of the 1980s comics, independent comics. You know, and
Well,
I
yeah,
like
I mean,
that.
the spirit of comic creation hasn't changed, and you know, the only difference has been is that now creators, you know, have more of a stake in their creation, you know, because they own it, you know, and that's the big difference. It used to be, you know, I mean, can you imagine if Len Wein and Herb Trimpe had gotten even a portion of Wolverine? Okay, I mean, they created that character and they got zip. I mean, they got paid for the pages, you know, and creating the character, or they didn't get anything creating the character.
Yeah.
You know, and that's the difference between then and now. Now creators have the opportunity they have agency to control what they create.
Yeah.
You know, why should I give my best character, you know, to Marvel and DC?
Well,
you know?
and this is a whole other subject, but this is one of my personal theories as to why and again, there's this is way too much for the moments that we got listed, but or moments we got left. But you know, one of the common arguments today is that Marvel and DC comics today suck, and I don't want to get into that debate, but one of my takes on that, part of the reason is they maybe aren't as good as they were in the past is because we're not seeing a lot of new creations because of those reasons. Is that creators are like, why am I going to, you know, create this for you when I can go and take it and go to Image and do my character that I created for Image and still own it, right?
Well, yes, exactly.
So,
But if there were any type of, I mean, I think right now they do. I'm not sure since I haven't worked for Marvel in like 22 years. You know, is that I think they're starting to share, but I'm not sure.
Yeah,
I'm not sure.
I know that. Well, I know DC did, and I think Marvel has followed suit to have. I think they just call it.
Well, yeah, they would have to in order to retain talent. Okay, I mean the thing is that if sooner or later you're going to run out of people who are not going to want to work there unless they're the people who just need a job.
Just doing it for the page rates, yeah.
Exactly. Yeah. There's probably a reason why they're recycling a bunch of their old characters. You know, because a lot of creators are not willing to give up, you know, their own creation unless they have
something new. Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, I know. I talked to before he died. You know, George Perez was here local, and I know I talked to him a couple of times. And one of the things that he said it was that his share, the creation share, the royalty share, whatever it was very generous to him. As far as not just because they didn't get anything on the comic books, obviously, but they got everything on the stuff created, like animation and toys and things like that. So. And he seemed to be very happy with the way that DC treated him. So, of course, he's George Perez, but I would hope that was kind of a similar agreement with many of their creators. So,
yeah, well, I'm glad that you know things are changing because I think they realize that you know you can't keep treating your talent like that, you know, and not you know reap some sort of negative, you know. Reaction.
Right. Well, as happens, our clock has sped through. Vic, I want to try to answer one of your questions real quick because where is it? You asked. I don't see the question now. But you asked about the independent distributor guy. No, there's no news on that. I have swapped emails with him, and we'll see what happens. But I don't know. So, but there's no news yet. So. Ben, thank you so much for showing. Is there anything else you wanna hype anything? You wanna push people anywhere right now to see some of your latest stuff?
Well, I do have a Kickstarter going. That's a Ninja High School poster set. If you want to check that out, I highly recommend it. Other than that, I mean, I really appreciate you inviting me. It was great. I had a great time. It was fun.
Excellent.
And you guys are awesome.
Well, thank you. And thank you for coming on. Haley, Pete, Tommy, y'all got anything?
I just enjoyed listening. No, I can't think of any questions. But I'm like, just absorb it all.
Yeah, Haley needs to get one question and go. Go, Haley, go.
Oh man.
Haley's like, don't put me on the spot.
Are you a dog person or a cat person?
Good question.
Are you asking me?
The important questions.
Yeah.
I have 3 cats.
Oh, okay. Cat guy.
If
Good
you
question.
we get these questions answered before they come on the stream. Cat people.
We're like, oh, okay, never mind.
Yeah. All right. Well, you guys don't forget to check out our Wednesday stream. We will not be back here next week. In fact, we won't be back until the next year because I will. Yep, I will be out of town. Unless one of you guys want to learn to host for the next 2 weeks. I will be out of town for the next 2 weekends. Next 2 Sundays. What?
Doing what?
I'm doing my Christmas, my family Christmas before Christmas because we're trying to.
How selfish of you.
How what of me?
How selfish of you.
Selfish.
People want to see you on a Sunday. You said that.
I am trying to do it so that my
stuff.
kids can go and do their
Do what I did and bring them on the stream.
Yeah. Well, so here's the other problem with that. So I'm going to the middle of nowhere, Arkansas, and my parents literally have the worst internet around. Yeah. So we can't get there. So Ben, hang out a few minutes after we're done. We'll chat for a few minutes as we end here. But I don't have a thing. Put it back up there, Tommy. You know how we like to end every day. We like to say,
Merry
Christmas. All right. Good night, everyone.
I'm Pat Broderick. Make mine Silverline.